So, as someone who's been on self improvement for quite a few years now, we're going to be watching the Austin Dunham 10 Laws of Self Improvement video. And the reason being is that I've actually, gone into the rabbit hole of this whole looks maxing thing and watching his videos, and I think he's like not only a bit delusional, but I think like a lot of stuff what he's saying is like very dangerous and actually not productive at all. So I hope this video is gonna be good, and I'm gonna try to, sniff the shit out that he's trying to put out there. I hope that he has some good points as well. Probably some basic ones, but let's just see.
So I've been on my self-improvement for 10 years, and with that being said, each and every year I have learned something new in terms of overall making sure that you develop yourself into the highest version of yourself. So that's why in today's video, I want to go over the 10 laws of self-improvement, and these are the same laws that I follow to a T each and every day to once again make myself marginally better every day, so that over a long-term horizon, we overall become the best versions of ourselves, all right? So subscribe, like, let's go ahead and get right into it.
By the way, I don't want to interrupt too much, but like I think this whole idea of trying to get like better every day, like in a sense it's good, but it's like very dangerous to, you know, try to get so fucking obsessed with self-improvement is like dangerous. And I'm saying this because I've been there. Like, if you're so fucking obsessed that you miss one workout and your mental health goes to shit, then, that's not a good life. So, I get what he's trying to say, but, like, you have to actually be careful with that.
So law number one is that you want to focus on what you can control. I know I made videos talking about your height or maybe your facial aesthetics, and some of these things we necessarily can't control. And if you fall down the trap of thinking and obsessing about the things that you can't control, instead of focusing on the things that you can control, you're overall going to just create limiting beliefs.
This is very fucking true. And I don't know why he's saying this, because to be honest, the reason that I got so, you know, negatively obsessed with, for example, my asymmetrical face and all that is because of like videos from him and other guys. And he's actually kind of contradicting himself there. Bro, he puts out like all these fucking videos about like how he got his perfect face with looks max and all that shit. But he has just, he has good genetics. Like, you can't deny it. And that's like, for example, Fit X Fearless as well. These guys that say they have this incredible journey, and you can see it in some of their thumbnails as well, where they put this transformation picture thing, and the first picture is not even bad. Like, they just change the color a bit and make their hair like very weird or whatever, but they're still attractive because they are just genetically attractive. So I mean, but in itself, focus on what you control is like very good advice, although it's kind of surprising coming from him. As someone who is like below average in size, there's something that I struggle with like on the daily, and I'm trying not to, but it's like really hard for me. I'm gonna be honest. It's really hard because especially most of my friends are like very tall, like 190 centimeters. I have two friends who are over 2 meters tall. I think that's like 6'8", something like that. And I'm like 5'8", so I get very self-conscious about that lots of time. But what I can, give some, what message or advice I can give to pretty much all of you watching out here is that everybody has these genetically good things or bad things. For example, let's look at my face. My face is, for example, I have a very big nose, which I'm pretty insecure about. I have, kind of a weirdly shaped head, let's say, and I'm short. These are like some bad things. Of course, there are probably more, but let's just say that I have these negatives. But what I have is I would at least say, pretty good eyes, like good eyebrows, they're very straight, etc. I have fairly dense hair. You know, my beard growth is alright. Some people don't grow a beard at all, so you know that's something to look out for. Also, I think my physique, like my bodybuilding genetics, are pretty good. Like I can basically eat as much as I want and I won't get fat. So what I'm trying to say is that everybody has like different kinds of strengths and weaknesses. Not only, you know, as for example, someone's good at football and someone's not, or I'm not saying that. It's just the, I feel like the facial features or bodily features as well. Of course, these are genetics, but like, if you, for example, think that you have a very ugly face, chances are that you're very tall and you have a great physique or whatever, or you have the great potential for a great physique. So just try to, you know, focus on the positive, because why shouldn't you? Why should you focus on the negative? There's no reason, it just makes you feel bad. So sorry for ranting a bit here, but I think it's like this is very important, like really, really important.
Around your whole entire identity. So with that being said, the things we can control, number one is going to be our fitness. Get in the gym, become
Very
the best
fucking
version
true.
of yourself from an aesthetic standpoint. I believe every man should be anywhere between 10 and 13% body fat if you overall want to look your best. Alongside with our image, we got our fashion, right? Our fashion, how we present ourselves to the world.
Fitness, no brainer. Like everybody should do it, at least to some extent. Like everybody has the time to work out like 2 or 3 times a week, do bodybuilding. If you know what you're doing, it doesn't take like that much time. So yeah,
These are things that we can effectively control and make better so that we overall just come off more attractive to whoever we're trying to engage with. If you fall into
fashion is very fucking true. Like the difference between, you know, me when I have like okay-ish hair. Let's say I have a good hair day. My skin's alright. Like everything is pretty good. But then I rock some like random ass clothes that I, you know, inherited from my brother. Probably most of you can relate if you have an older brother. You got lots of clothes from them probably, or older siblings in general. Chances are that's just not gonna look good, and it's also pretty worn out old clothes. But the moment I, you know, wear clothes that I bought, that I thought looked good, um, bro, like it changes everything. Not just the way you look, and this sounds kind of corny, but it's very true. Like if you feel like you look very good, it gives you so much confidence. Like I'm not fucking kidding. You get so self-conscious when you are aware that what you're wearing is shit, like is ugly. And so this is something that yes, everybody can focus. And also, if your physique is better, it's also easier to find clothes that look good, like a bit tighter fitting things, but you know, don't get too hard. Like for example, Andrew Tate or some other guys wear these fucking skinny jeans and whatever. Like don't go too far. Like of course, but I apologize. Also, try to find your own style. There's a different, there's like a bunch of different styles out there regarding fashion, and you can just, you know, find a bit of a mix between some different styles that you like. Um, so just try to, you know, gradually upgrade your wardrobe if you haven't already. I think it's something that is definitely worth doing, and I'm also in the midst of doing that myself right now, and I will be releasing a video on, you know, how I did it, how I, you know, went through this whole process, what changed, you know, how I changed my looks, and also, you know, what happened afterwards. And yeah, I'm very excited for that.
the trap of just focusing on the things that maybe you're stuck with genetically or can't control, I promise you that's just going to lead you down a road of complete failure. So focus on the things you can control. Let's move on to law number 2. So with law number 2, this is controlling your vices and pretty much quitting all addictions and vices. I made a video recently talking about how I quit weed after using it for around 3.5 years. And little did I know I was overall creating self-sabotage, which is hindering me from my own success. If you want to be the highest version of yourself,
I'm gonna be honest, I smoke weed like once a week or like every 2 weeks, sometimes even more. And first of all, it's dangerous because when you're younger, it changes your brain. There's like dangers of you getting like mentally sick, like brain damaged in a way. Like that is true. So if you're young, stay away from it. Like be very careful. And also, what I realize is that like it's if it's just a if it, I just don't smoke a lot, then it actually doesn't really affect me in a negative way. But the dangers come from, smoking like a lot, then eating like total garbage, staying up until 5 a.m., and then the next day you don't want to go to the gym. Like, that's the dangers of it.
Yourself, you absolutely have to, with all your power and will, control your addictions because that's going to have a direct correlation to your dopamine levels. Your dopamine levels.
But that's true as well. Like, addictions in general, I say this about weed is not that bad, it's because I'm not addicted to it. Like, if someone told me right now, like, I give you, or I don't know, like, if someone said to me, like, I challenge you to not smoke weed for like half a year, that I could do it. Like, I'm 100% convinced that I could do it. It's just that right now I'm at an age, like, I'm 18, I'm barely 19 years old. I'm very young, and I know this sounds kind of cliche, but I want to live life to an extent. And this is also, I believe, doing these realistically dumb things helps me not get too obsessed with self improvement. Because I was there at stages where I basically didn't do any bad habits, but I felt horrible because I had nothing like fun going on in my life. And I'm not saying like you need to take drugs to have fun, but you I feel like if you're young, then you have to be careful not to go all in too much because it's gonna drain on your mind so much. Like, trust me.
Pretty much control everything about your motivation and your drive. If you have low dopamine, you're not going to have the willpower or drive to want to actually complete and accomplish your goals. And you deplete your dopamine by having these addictions and vices. Even social media, scrolling TikTok for hours, drinking alcohol multiple times a week.
Bro, social media is fucking true. Social media is the biggest issue, like hands down, in men's mental health, or probably humans' mental health. Like, I'm 100% sure that if we were all to stop, having smartphones and stop watching Netflix, also listening to music, which I know sounds kind of like crazy, but it's also a form of distraction and media. Like, if we stopped all of that, I feel like, or I'm pretty sure that, like, after 2, 3 weeks, the world would be so much fucking better. So I'm right now also, trying to get rid of my phone addiction because I believe I have a phone addiction probably. I have like 4 hours weekly usage or average daily usage last week, which is quite a lot. But I'm sure that many people have it way worse than me. And I believe the reason why social media or just scrolling through this shit is so fucking dangerous, not only because it robs your time, but also because it basically means that you have no time to think about the stuff that you usually would think about. For example, when I just put my phone away and just walk through my apartment, um, I I just realized that, oh wait, I still have to do that, and I just do it. Bro, if I was on my phone 24/7, I would not do so many things because I would just forget. And also, there's just many things that many problems you have in your life that you just distracting yourself from if you keep on just using social media. So I'm gonna make like tons of videos on that because I think like it's one of the most important issues, like the most major issues right now. and I think it needs to be fixed like ASAP. Like really, I'm really, maybe I'm exaggerating, but I like social media is a fucking danger. Like really.
Week. Smoking the ganj before bed because you think it relaxes you or helps you fall asleep better, right? You don't realize that you're hindering your own success overall, and you will never elevate to the highest version of yourself.
A quick note: I watch plenty of podcasts on sleep, etc. Smoking weed to sleep is like pretty dumb because weed is a sedative, which basically means that you don't sleep, you're just unconscious. It's like the same with alcohol. It's also the reason why you don't wake up relaxed after smoking weed. It's easy to fall asleep, but you're not really asleep. You're just unconscious. So don't use it to fall asleep because it's just not doing that. If you struggle with falling asleep, like that's a whole different topic. But don't use weed to fall asleep. It's very dumb.
If you don't cut out these vices. All right, so the reason why you always give up on stuff is because you never do it long term and you never think about doing it long term. That's why law number 3 is that you need to effectively always have that long term mindset. This goes with everything in your life. Me personally, I have a rule. If I can't do it long term, then most times it's not worth doing. Think about it, even with steroids, right? You guys have probably thought about getting on the juice, trying to build more muscle, but from a long term aspect, you cannot sustain that. So is it worth doing? Probably not. Everything I
That's very true, especially with steroids. I've thought about what it would be like to use them. I have never considered doing steroids, and I never will. Um, but it's just like it's not worth it. It never is with these things. And I think this is a pretty good mindset that you can definitely keep. Like, or what do you think about it? I think it's pretty good.
do, even the things I invest long term. I don't think about short term trading or doing things that's going to provide like a quick hit of dopamine because overall it's not worth it. So if you have a challenge for yourself, let's say you're trying to get more dates, start a social media channel, improve your fitness, wherever it may be, you have to expand your time horizon to at least minimum 6 months. If you can't do it for 6 months, then overall it's just not worth doing. But actually, I feel like you need to stick to something for minimum a year to 2 years if you really want to see the effects of compounding success. This is how everybody's successful. They get a little bit better, and then over time, it just simply compounds. Whenever I first started social media, nobody was...
Fact. This is an ad. Fact. This is stuff.
Fucking ad.
1 out of 3 people who start a community on school.
That's very true. I think like my YouTube channel right now is horribly small. My fitness is not going, like my physique is pretty good, but I'm like nowhere near where I want to be at. But like you just have to stay consistent because like the weeks are not gonna show any progress, but like if you stay consistent for months and even years, it's gonna be crazy. Like it's gonna be really crazy. You have to detach from the outcome. So basically you don't do it because you know something will happen. You don't go to the gym because you know that you're gonna be at 70 kg by 2 months. You're gonna do it regardless of, what happens. And then, it's gonna take some time. There are gonna be some times where you feel like you haven't improved at all. But there's gonna be that moment where you look in the mirror, for example, and you're like, wow, damn, I've gotten big. Like, these are the moments that are, that make you genuinely satisfied and proud of yourself. Sorry, I muted it.
Cool tricks I'm able to do now. I didn't have a 6-pack. I wasn't ripped, but over time it compounded, and that's how I got to the point where I'm at today by having that long-term mindset. Law number 4 is that your daily habits need to align with the person who you want to become. Our habits pretty much create everything in our lives, guys. From your morning routine to your night routine to literally every routine you ever had. If you look at your habits and that's not in line with the person you want to be or the ideal future you see for yourself, then once again, we're leading down a road of self-sabotage. Now, in terms of habits, of course, we also have a workout routine, but I know a lot of you guys want to make yourselves more attractive too, and your habits also fall in line with that, from drinking enough water per day to going to the gym consistently, even to taking care of your skin. And you guys already know if you don't have a skincare routine, that's one habit you need to consistently do from a base layer of appearance in order to make yourself the most attractive version of yourself. And that's why the sponsor of today's video is
I knew it was going to be a sponsor.
Personally, I've been stuck to and use skin rays when I help make actually because recommend you check out this silicone body scrubber. Listen to you. Self-improvement is that you always have to be a student. Guys, you got to realize there's always going to be.
This is very true. And always being a student doesn't just refer to, always trying to learn things and, get wiser and wiser. But it's also about being humble and accepting that maybe there are lots of things that you don't have the answer to. And this is something that I realized, over the years as I got older, that there are many things that we can never know, or that I haven't figured out, that I have no clue about. And that's the beauty of life. Not knowing something and learning about it is like very fun. But you have to always stay humble. Of course, you can be confident, but don't be like too cocky.
Be somebody who's smarter than you, and you always need to take that advice and knowledge and learn from them. Even me myself, I know there's people who are a lot smarter than me in all the subjects that I think I'm smart at. That's why me personally, I decide to every morning devise myself in knowledge by reading something that's going to help my skill set.
Yeah, by the way, I'm not sure if like he's being honest there, because I think he's like very convinced of himself. He's maybe not narcissistic, but like he tends to go in that way. But what he's saying is true. And even with people who are like objectively dumber than you can still learn from them. I don't know where the quote is from, but like and it might be wrong the way I'm putting it, but it goes something like, you can learn a thing from everybody. And that's true. Like, there could be the dumbest motherfucker next to you, and he could teach you something. You don't know, so don't underestimate people. Like, don't think that you're above people, even though you may objectively be, but there's lots of different perspectives that you can learn from. And if you're not open to that, it's going to be very hard to, get better and better, because you need to, stay open to learn more about like everything in life.
The things that I want to become better at. Knowledge is power, guys. Now with knowledge too, of course you should be a student, but also realize that you're mostly going to learn through your own experiences. So that's why you should also take action when you're a student, so that way you get the benefits of both. Learning from other people, this could be books, mentors, coaches, or even learning from your own experiences. Then from there, that's how you create that knowledge sort of bundle.
Something I want to say here is that what he's saying is very true, but I genuinely think that you should not really watch YouTube videos. I know like saying this is bad for me because I'm making YouTube videos there and I want people to watch them, but watching YouTube videos is so much worse than, for example, reading books. And like, of course, there are YouTube videos that are definitely worth watching, but I feel like your own experience in life is worth so much more. And the reason that nowadays people prefer watching or learning, not by doing, but by watching videos or listening to podcasts or whatever, is just because it's easier. If all this knowledge available, of course, that's cool. But you're going to learn a lot quicker and a lot more from experience. For example, if you watch like videos on how to get better with women for like half a year, then of course you would be, better at, attracting them, talking to them, etc. But if you went out for like 2 weeks every day and approached like 3 women every day, you would learn so much more in, such less amount of time. So I think experience is worth a lot more than, learning from books or whatever, or videos.
By combining those two things. Always be a student, never stop learning. All right, guys, we're more than halfway through. Let's get to law number 6. This is you need to curate your environment. I promise you, What you see on social media, the friends you hang around with, even the girls you decide to associate with, is going to create your reality and make you into a person either you want to become or don't want to become. First, we got to start off with your environment. This is otherwise known as life setup. You need to move to a city where it either motivates you, inspires you, or at least live in an area in your city to where you can overall fulfill whatever dream or passion or purpose that you personally want to accomplish.
Like, this advice is just for rich people. Like, people like us, we can't just move to cities because we like the environment, because it fits our environment or whatever. Like, of course, do that if you have the money, but, like, that's not really a self-improvement law, I feel like.
Me personally, I grew up in small towns most of my whole entire life. And I always felt like I was held back within these environments and I couldn't necessarily elevate to be the highest version of myself. It wasn't until in 2019 when I moved to a bigger city, it sparked a sense of creativity and overall more passion and drive because of the new environment that I was in. And also your friends.
Or maybe move to Miami because there's more bitches there. I think that's what he's saying, basically. Don't get me wrong, like, it's fine, but, like, I think that's what he truly meant.
I have worked with more than 2,000 agency owners, coaches, and consultants on a weekly basis. And
realize a lot of your friends are probably holding you back. A lot of your friends just overall do not have your best interests in mind. They see you elevating, but they want to keep you at that level they're at. And that's why as you elevate as a person, you might have to reconstruct your friend group. You might have to leave those.
This whole topic of, getting rid of your friends because they're not self-improvement and they're holding you back is like leading to you being fucking lonely, and you're not gonna easily find new friends. Especially if you have friends that, you've been friends with for years. This notion of just getting rid of them and trying to find a new friend group is like so fucking dumb. And I think this is part of the reason why nowadays many people feel like they don't really have true friends. I think it's because all of these people like Austin here telling people that you should get rid of your friends if they're not, helping you get better, or if they're, holding you back, if they do bad habits. Like, I think that's just too much. I think, like, this is the reason why friendships nowadays are a bit fucked. Honestly. If you have true friends that you have been friends with for years, bro, then it doesn't fucking matter if they're on self-improvement or not. It's very important to have people, to talk to about everything in life. And if, they disagree with you on everything and you hate what they are doing and etc., then, bro, they're not really your friends. But if you can talk to them for a long time and you have at least some common interests and, so on, then the friendship is not worth, like, getting rid of simply because people online tell you that these friends are holding you back, because in reality you're holding yourself back by believing that they influence you much more than they in reality do.
Old friends behind who don't want to elevate with you. And that's why a lot of successful people, a lot of people who start making more money actually start to reform their friend group with people of similar interests and have similar mindsets as them, all right? So don't allow your environment to hold you back. Actually curate it.
Bro, you can make new friends and still keep the old ones. Like, it's not that hard. Genuinely.
And lastly, that includes your social media. If you guys are still following IG models, bro, I done said it a million times. Why are you following a woman who is never going to see you in her life or doesn't even know you exist?
That's fucking true. Honestly, man, who the fuck follows IG models? It's basically like permanently watching soft porn. This is like another issue. Like, I talked about this earlier. This whole thing about social media is like the biggest issue right now. This is part of it. Like, how do you think, like, the perception of women changes for you if you constantly keep seeing IG models, like, every day? Bro, you're not gonna approach, like, the woman that you actually should go and approach. You're not gonna do shit, you just have everything you want in your phone. Like, that's fucking... I know that sounds cringe, like, but following IG models is fucking beta. Like, there's no reason to do that.
Why are you not following people who motivate you, inspire you, make you want to do better in life in any area? It could be your fitness.
Bro, don't follow anyone on social media or on Instagram. Why the fuck does it matter? Like, of course, if you use Instagram as a dating app, which many people do, then of course that changes. But I actually would advise you to just delete Instagram if you haven't already, because I feel like there's just no reason to have it. It's just it's very superficial social media. Like there's nothing really real about it. Like I feel like there's just no reason to have it. And it's just the fear of missing out why people tend to keep it. And honestly, like, it's just irrelevant. Just delete it.
Could be your health, could be your relationships, whatever it may be. Follow those people and stay off the Explore page on Instagram. Do not go on the Explore page, because that's how you're gonna fall into the trap of finding these women or people that are not gonna motivate you or inspire you, because Instagram's job is to literally keep you on the platform. And they know your horny ass is gonna want to just view women in bikinis, right? So stay off the Explore page,
Yes.
curate your total environment, and watch you elevate as a person. Law
That's
number
true.
7 is that you need to get out of your
Very
comfort
true.
zone. Ask yourself, when's the last time you did something truly difficult? It could be physically, it could be mentally, ideally a combination of both. But if you're looking back on your life the past year and you've stayed in the same place, that shows a lack of growth. Think about the gym, right? The reason why we train so hard and we preach progressive overload is because that's what's gonna allow that adaptation to a stronger muscle. But you guys don't realize it happens with your mind too. Doing mentally difficult things, getting outside of your comfort circle zone, whatever you want to call it, is going to overall elevate your growth.
I believe that's very true. And I struggle with this as well. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not perfect at all. And I know I never said I was, but like, I struggle with lots of things still. I'm still very young. And getting out of your comfort zone is very hard nowadays, because you have everything that you basically need right there. There's no need to get out of your comfort zone if you don't have to. So you have to forcefully push your own self out of your comfort zone, which takes like a lot of mental strength. And pushing yourself out of your comfort zone can be as little as, for example, just like you said, some very physical activities, but also just approaching new friends or guys at the gym, or just approaching a girl you find attractive. Like, these are the things that are getting you out of your comfort zone, and everything that gets you out of your comfort zone is gonna make you grow a lot. And I know it's very hard, because we all know this, yet we still somehow don't do it. And I believe we don't, or I believe the reason we don't is because of all the social media we have. It's because it makes us not, feel like we need to do it. By the way, I realized after I've been, recently using social media less, also going to the gym without music and, just staring around, it makes you want to approach people more. And that's why I think social media is such a big issue, because without it, everything just becomes automatically a lot easier for you. You do the things that you know that you should do, but they become easier because your mind tells you to do them. You don't have to force yourself like logically. It just becomes normal.
I started sparring recently, and I sparred a few times, right? Doing that for me was way out of my comfort zone. I've never been punched in the face in my life, but once I actually got punched in the face, it's once I felt that anxiety of going into the ring and challenging myself. I felt the confidence translate to other.
I've been to Thai boxing like a few times, and then I couldn't anymore because it was like the exact time with football. But getting punched in the face, like if it's in a controlled environment, like, man, it's fucking amazing. I know that sounds a bit dumb, but if you're getting fucking beaten up and the other person has boxing gloves and whatever, bro, this shit feels good. It makes you feel so alive. Like, I think I should be, I should start to do that again. And I actually remember a few years ago, I went out with a friend, and it was raining, and we just went out next to a gymnastic hall. We just took like two pairs of boxing gloves, and we just fought like at night in the rain. Bro, it was fucking amazing. I never felt so alive. Like, it was truly amazing. Sadly, he's passed away. only 18. It's a very sad story, but you know, life's beautiful. You gotta remember the good things.
Areas of my life, because I know if I can do that, then this is going to be even easier, right? And it all starts with purposely forcing yourself outside of your comfort zone. Before we move on to law number 8, if you're still watching this video, that is a sign that you have what it takes to actually stay consistent and disciplined through something, even when it comes to watching a video like this, right? And that's why law number 8 is just literally staying consistent and sticking through those hard times. Listen, everybody has a different...
That's true as well. Just in case this video gets like more than like 5 views, I honestly believe that nobody, or like 90% of people, have clicked off by now easily. And this is partly due to me just not being that good at articulating myself and maybe not giving out like the best advice or whatever. But it's also because people's attention spans are just pretty fucked nowadays. So if you're still watching, then either you're just doing something else and this video's running in the background, or your attention span is pretty good. Because I know that this video and me talking sometimes gets a bit boring, but I do that, like, I know that sounds dumb, but I do that intentional. Because if you are flooded with constant information and people never repeat their points and just constantly new things, information, edit, bro, your brain's not gonna remember shit. So I'm trying to, you know, repeat myself maybe a few times, and maybe it can be a bit boring for many people, but the people who actually care and want to learn some things and want to, you know, think, for them it's gonna be so much more beneficial. So that's why I'm doing this, basically.
Times. There's gonna be good months, there's gonna be bad months, but it's the ones who stick with it who comes out on top at the end. I've never saw results doing anything initially for a short period of time. This is, once again, I have that long-term mindset, right? I've always had to stay consistent in whatever I'm doing in order to see actual progress. But because I stay consistent, because I was delaying my gratification towards the things and goals I want to.
This is very true regarding like working out. The periods where I struggled like the most with working out, where I've been like really consistent, but it's been really hard on my mental health, like eating a lot, really exhausting and all that. Like once they were like done and I, you know, stopped being that consistent, and you know, that's like only after these very hard periods and where I suffered a lot, only after that I realized, like, I looked in the mirror and I watched like, wow, like only then I realized how much I grew. So once you get through this period of suffering, this could be anything in your life, but let's just say workout or bodybuilding, let's say bodybuilding. Once you get through this suffering period, bro, you're gonna feel so good that you went through it, because if you like suffer for a long time, you're gonna grow so much.
Achieve, and I just overall stuck with the plan. That's how I saw those results, right? So it first starts with having a goal. Then from there, having the routines that fall in line with that goal and those habits like we talked about. And then overall, you taking action over a long course of time and sticking to the plan in order to see those results. So at law number 9, we gotta attract, don't chase. I've spoken about this a handful of times, mainly in the context of women, but that goes for pretty much everything, guys. I'm a big believer in manifestation, and all that really means is making your...
For women, I believe that's true. But of course you have to chase to some extent. If chasing means, you know, approach them, text them, message them or whatever. But don't do it, you know, to the point where they obviously, you know, don't care as much as you. You should always be the one caring less than her. That's very basic advice, but if you care about the relationship or whatever less than she does, then it's always going to be a lot easier for you. And if you know, don't really care and you have to chase her in order for her to, you know, reciprocate, then she's just not interested enough, so there's just no point in chasing. Like, genuinely, there's no point in chasing. Because if she likes you enough, then you don't have to do it. Like, you generally won't have to do it.
yourself into the person who you want to become, and then attracting whatever that person deserves into your life. So this goes back into my basic points. Make yourself into the most attractive version of yourself, and then allow what's going to come to you to come to you. Have that attraction mindset, manifestation, whatever you want to personally call it. The universe will give you what you overall deserve. And law number 10, this is the last one, guys, is that you need to solve your own problems and then share those solutions with the world. This is pretty much how everybody is successful, especially people you see on social media. What they did was identify problems in their own life, fix those problems either through trial and error or hiring people to help fix those problems for them and help construct and go through that journey with them. Then from there, they share that information either through a wide medium such as social media or even...
That's basically what I'm trying to do. I know that I have like lots of issues, but lots of issues that I have are very common within, you know, males about around my age. So let's say just 16 to 20, maybe even 25 or whatever. Like, I'm trying to, you know, use myself, let's say, as a lab rat, to try to find solutions to these problems, and then I can share them, because there's lots of problems that I believe people are just approaching the wrong way, so I'm just trying to figure them out. It also gives me a lot of motivation. Like, if I know that, for example, me knowing that if I find a good solution to fixing my social media addiction, if I know that I can then share this with lots of people and I can help lots of people, this gives me a lot more motivation to actually, you know, go through the different steps of doing that. So I think that's very good advice.
Even the people within your social group, right? You don't have to get on social media and make videos, though that will be the best way, but you can do it just with your friends. You know, the friends who I talked about before who aren't elevated
True.
with you.
You don't have to do social media. Just talk to your friends or classmates or maybe family. Like, knowing that what you achieved or what you went through and how you know, found solutions to things, knowing that that helps other people makes you feel so good. It's just great, you know, seeing other people have success, especially people you love.
Try and help them up, or even your family, or people, anybody who's close to you. You want to
Like I said,
share
your
message
family,
with
yeah.
them so that you can just spread the positivity and spread the goodwill, because since you made the person you want to become, you need to just spread that goodwill across all others, all right? So those were the 10 laws of self-improvement, guys.
I honestly think these laws were pretty good, but somehow I don't believe that he really believes in all of these. Like, I'm not really convinced by Austin Dunham still. But I mean, the video was pretty good information. I'm very curious about what you have to say about it, and, you know, let me know if in the comments if you watched through this entire video. Then write your comment right now. Then I'm very proud of your attention span. It's very impressive. With that said, I wish you an amazing day. After this video, don't watch any more videos. Just do something productive. You probably have a lot of shit to do that's better than being on social media. So go and do that, and I'm gonna go to sleep now probably. With that said, take care, guys.